Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Remember, in a conversation, it's not the opposition who frames the conversation, who sets the terms. You have a right to set terms as well. So when someone says, well, this is the issue, you don't fall for that. No, you don't put the issue the way you want it. You can say, no, that's actually not the issue. This is the issue. Because if that person has the right to set the rules and the boundaries of the conversation, you have the same rights, and you might disagree with that. So remember, when you ask someone a question and the person doesn't want to answer your question, usually says this. Actually, that's not the issue. The issue is, no. The issue is the one I set, not the one you set. Why would you let the issue be set by him? The boundaries, the rules. Is your boss, and even if it's your boss, are you for the truth? Or you're for just, or you're about winning the conversation. If you want to win the conversation and you want to find out what's happening, keep your frame, all right? Because he's going to try to keep his. So start from there. So what's going on here? We have here a framework already set in place by the United States of America in Europe regarding NATO and the U.S. troops and weapons present on the territory of Europe. And these are the boundaries, the setting that the United States likes. Now, it doesn't mean that the European countries like that too, or in its entirety. Therefore, they can, if it's a partnership, remember they're allies, partners, they should say, well, I don't really like that. I would like to add to it, I would like to subtract, I would like to change things here. Now, how do you do that? If you're an equal to the deal, since you're an ally, the other side should say, yeah, okay, let's discuss it. But their reaction is not that one. Their reaction is, I'm very upset that you really challenged the status quo. Like the status quo is forever. It's not going to change at all. Let me tell you what I'm talking about here. We have Macron, the president of France, and he said this many times before, that he would like to have the Europeans have their own common army. And I didn't understand at the beginning when Macron came with this idea, and you had the Americans and some weasels in the mass media mocking Macron in the Brussels, the European Parliament, whatever. I was like, why this idea is not right? And now I understand it. Not only now, because I had a clue. I said, well, is it because of that, because of that? They would not tell you. They were just mocking him. Like, that's stupid, what are you talking about? We don't have the resources. You just send billions of dollars to Ukraine now, but you don't have the resources. And now Macron makes the point again, and he gives a number. Well, it's just the beginning. My problem is not with the idea, my problem is how the Americans and this article in the Telegraph reacted to the idea. Here is the article. So, the article comes from the Telegraph. It says, Macron's European army is an insult to NATO and the Americans who pay for it. All right, so let's see what's going on. As citizens of other nations attempt to escape the crisis hit Sudanese capital, blah, 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 not important. Let's go back here. That's odd because the US, as distinct from NATO, has theoretically had a variety of different rapid response forces for decades, way back to the European Rapid Operational Force announced in 1995 and disbanded in 2012. The latest foolish plan along these lines is French President Macron's call last month for a European army able to act independently of US and NATO, including a 5,000-strong rapid response force. So the Telegraph calls this the latest foolish plan. From the very beginning, they told you that this is stupid. Okay, but all right, so this is what they say. Macron wants a European army, independent of the US and NATO, including 5,000-strong rapid response force. The Americans are upset. The Telegraph, this is a British, media outlet. It's an insult, all right? We're going to analyze that, to NATO and the Americans who pay for it. Well, okay, now let's analyze this situation. I'm going to give you one analogy, or I can give you more, but I'm just going to give you one. You are a business owner, right? And you sell groceries, right? I don't know, milk, food, whatever you sell. And then your providers, are, let's say, in this town. And you make contracts with them. Let's say cheese, you go and buy cheese from these guys. They sell it to you, you sell it to the people. That's how it works. They are the suppliers. But then this is NATO. The suppliers, the contract between you as a country and these suppliers that you have, let's say 5, 7, 8, 9 suppliers. Or one supplier, let's say the United States. And all of a sudden you say, okay, well, I want to expand. I don't want to sell only this kind of cheese that the United States sells me and gives me, NATO. But I want to expand and get the cheese from this supplier as well, or at least look into it. Why? Because I want to diversify in case this guy is going to say, I don't like you, buddy, or increases the price. Then I can go here and I have other options. I'm not going to be dying. You know what I mean? Self-interest. These guys feel insulted that I'm going to go and try my own way. With them, they're here. I'm going to be with you guys. But I'm going to have this one as well. And I'm going to make a contract with these guys. I'm going to make a contract with that one. But these guys are insulted. They pay for the contract as you pay for transportation. Well, don't pay. What's going to happen? Well, this is another thing. Do you think that if the United States, this is a story, if the United States says, okay, guys, NATO, I'm out of here. The Europeans will die tomorrow. The Russians will invade them and kill them all. This is the boogeyman that's been sold to Europe in the past, 80 years almost. No, not 80, but 70 at least. After the Cold War started, the Iron Curtain. Ooh. All right? After that, the Russians will invade you. That was a story. We have to stay. Yes, please stay. And they stayed. And if the Americans leave, if we leave, you're going to be alone. Imagine a relationship. It's like you tell your wife or your girlfriend, if I'm leaving you, you're going to be dying, you're going to be regretting, you can't make it in this world. Now, obviously, if I say that, you immediately catch the bullshit, right? Yeah, like she's going to die because you leave. Like without you, she can't make it in the world. That's exactly what the Americans are telling the Europeans. The problem is here you have Europeans who say the same thing to other Europeans. If US leaves, we're going to be dying. We can't survive. We survived so many hundreds of years, thousands of years, but without the Americans. But now without them, we're going to somehow die. We're so weak. Really? Are you crazy? Did you look at the numbers? Did you look at the economies? You look at the military. I understand the United States, but Europe is not something that you can just play with. US without NATO is just US. With NATO, without Europe, is just United States. If the European Union or the Europe will create its own army, I think would be good enough to be taken into consideration. Not as strong as the United States, because the United States, Russia, they're way ahead in the game. But they will catch up. But if you don't start, you're never going to finish. So here, I feel insulted. So if it's not like we don't want to be having NATO anymore, we want something outside. What's wrong with that? They say, the Americans and these guys who feel insulted, their worldview right now is, this is the end. We grabbed you by your little balls, or no balls in the case of Germany, we grabbed you by something else, and we want it, no more moves, no more changes, that's it, end of the game. You can't leave, this is the end, we're going to live like this forever. No, life is an evolving, changing thing. It doesn't mean that I made a deal with you, this is the deal forever for my company, is it? It's like you have a job, you go to get a job, all right? You get hired, and you say, well, I'm thinking of, looking, maybe I can make more money and have a better environment and all that. Maybe I can be promoted in another company. And the owner feels, the job, the business that you work for, is going to feel insulted that you're going to leave, or you're planning on leaving. Or maybe you get another job, a second job. He's going to be insulted. No, it's just another job, an extra job. And if you don't do a good job, maybe I'm just going to get rid of you. No, you can't. You're my employee and you have to work only with me. This is like an abusive partner. No? Anyway, so Macron's instincts are good, even though he came again with this, because I think he tries to build a nationalistic, he tries to tap on Marine Le Pen's nationalistic message, and since he tapped real bad with his pension reform, that is going to stick, it's going to stay there. Just like how they do. Yeah, they go a little bit with the forks and with the torches in the street for about, I don't know, a month, and they're going bye-bye, go back home, and they will be retiring later. That happens in democracies because they don't give up. You can't do. What are you going to do? You're going to vote for the next ones with the idea that they will repeal that one, and they will vote another one. It ain't going to happen. That's going to be forever. Why? Because they're both in the same team, and you're not in that team. You see that certain things like this never come back, never get repealed or something. No, they're like, it's done. No, this is what happened. The next one who's going to come to power in France against the reform, the next day should just say, okay, this is done. Done, out. It's not going to happen because it's not, there are forces outside of their control, and they will not do that. You watch me. You watch me. Do you think that if Marine Le Pen shows up or someone else that criticizes now the pension reform in France, when he gets or she gets to power, you can say, now I'm going to do what I said I will do. Done with that one. We're going to retire at 52 now. Do you think so? Not 62, 52? No. They're going to say, oh, we had to. I mean, let's work it and see how it's going to. No. Yes, that's how it works, my friends. So here they feel insulted. They pay for it. Get out. What do you think? The Russians are going to take over? Yes. This is the BS that has been sold. All right. But if you have weasels inside the gates, what are you going to do? And Macron, stupid idea, right? Dumb idea, whatever the term they used over there. Already from the very beginning, the Telegraph framed it as stupid and insulting. Well, I'm insulted all the time. You know what I mean? Am I entitled? I'm entitled to be insulted. No, I can feel it. But is it, legitimate? Right now I'm insulted with this. I think they're ugly and they're looking at me in a weird way. I can be insulted, but that's, you know what I mean? With an insult doesn't work because the Europeans can claim insult as well. But no, they can't, only the other guys. Anyway, you got my point. And see how it was framed. Those guys are paying for it. Those guys feel insulted. You can't. I grabbed you. I hold you right here in my claws. That's basically. And you can't evolve. You can't change anymore. Like when NATO came into being, let's say people before it came into being would have said, no, we don't do this. Stop. We're not going to evolve. We're going to stay in this one. Things change. And besides, I think NATO is already an organization under 100% US's control. How do you want to see that? How can you measure that? By reciprocity. The principle of reciprocity. Do we have forces and weapons in your country? No. You have in ours? Yes, because you defend us. I'm sick of that and tired of hearing this. But anyway, look in Romania. In Romania, the Americans, NATO, which is United States, brought some defense systems in Romania to defend Romania from, not Romania, Europe from Iran attack. Iran, yes, that one. The Persians, yes. Not the Russians, the Persians, Iran. And the Poland the same way. The Romanians have no access to those. They can't even scratch at the gate to get in to look at those missiles. It's operated, controlled by NATO, United States only. Is that reciprocity? I don't think so. When you say, well, the joint command. No, it's not joint command. I gather you here. I order you to come over here to tell you what's going on. I ask you questions. Even if you say something I don't like, I'm going to smack you unless you say what I want. And after you say what I want, we live in agreement. Yeah, okay. That's how it works. Just pay attention and look for patterns. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.